In 1997, Ian Richardson and his mother were looking through some family photos. They came across one of Ian's grandfather and his brothers and sisters. One of the sisters in particular caught his attention, a tall, thin, striking woman. "Oh," said his mother, "that's Aunt Florrie." At which point she suddenly became much more guarded about what she was prepared to say. Ian, of course, took this as a challenge and decided to find out everything he could about his great Aunt Florrie. Turns out that in 1914 she had gone to Bengal, then part of the British Empire in India, to join her fiancé Frank Pace. He was a Baptist missionary and she was there to help him. They married and things seemed to be going quite well. In 1918 they returned to Australia and it seemed like Frank was under some kind of cloud with the Baptist authorities. And then in 1919 Frank and Florrie were divorced. This was remarkable. In the first place, Baptists didn't do divorce. In the second place, when people did get divorced in those days, it was a long drawn-out process and likely to attract the attention of the media and the scandal sheets like Truth in particular. This divorce went through very quickly and there was no mention of it at all, even in the scandalous newspapers. Ian decided he needed to check the court records for the divorce. And here things got murkier still. The Supreme Court announced that the records had been sealed forever and that he wouldn't be allowed to see them. It took him 2 years, but he did eventually get to see them. Frank and Florrie hadn't been divorced. Their marriage had been annulled. They hadn't been able to consummate the relationship because there was something wrong with Florrie. Florrie, as we would say today, had an intersex condition. She was coerced into having a physical examination and that the details of that were recorded in the court records. This explained why their attempts to consummate the marriage in 1914, beginning with their honeymoon, had failed repeatedly. As Frank explained that when they tried to have intercourse, his penis would go in no more than an inch, 2.5 centimetres, into Florrie's vagina. Florrie, we now know, had a condition known as complete androgen insensitivity syndrome. A person would have the appearance, the external appearance, of being a woman, but would have none of the internal organs. She had been divorced, and no matter how little people knew about what the cause was, the fact that she was divorced was a problem. She almost certainly suffered from depression and other psychiatric illnesses, and in 1945 she was confined to the Mont Park Mental Hospital, where she died 5 years later.